Hello, hello, hello. It's been another week. Another week has gone by. We have lots to talk about, lots to discuss. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Courtesy Call, the podcast where I rant about politics, world affairs, and societal issues. I am your host, Scott Perry. And it is Sunday, January 23rd, 2022, and we're almost finished with the month of January. Got about, another week left, roughly. And we are definitely in the middle of winter, as most of us New Englanders are feeling it. As this past week, I think it's been in the single digits as far as temperature goes. Yeah, definitely been single digits, and I think some areas it's been below zero. Few digits below zero. So definitely looking forward to it warming up a bit. Let's not push winter out too quickly. Let's enjoy winter while we can, because I know once the spring hits and the summer comes about, we're going to be begging for the cold again because it's just too hot, right? That's usually how it goes. It's too hot in the summer, and then it gets too cold for us in the winter, and we're never happy. We're never satisfied because we're New Englanders. So let's hope it picks up a bit, and let's hope let's hope it gets a little bit warmer. So hope you guys' week has been good. I hope you enjoyed your week this past week. A lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of things in the headlines to discuss. I would like to start off by talking about the SAD. Let's get the SAD done over with. For those who may not know, so this past week we lost some well-adored people, well-adored figures in the media and throughout the entertainment world. We'll start off with Meatloaf. So for those who do not know, this past week, Michael Lee Aday, better known as the music artist Meatloaf, passed away this past week. He passed away, I believe it was last Thursday. He was 74 years old, and they say it was due to, get this, it said it was due to COVID-19. That's right. Coronavirus taking the blame and taking the hit for the cause of Meatloaf's passing. It says here on thesun.com, which I'm assuming is a news source out of the Arizona area. Could be wrong, but I'm assuming it's out of Arizona. And it says, legend dead. Meatloaf dead at 74. COVID reported as cause of death as Bat Out of Hell singer dies with wife Deborah by his side. That's very sad. Goes into his back history and some of his background. Like I said, he was a icon in the world, in the music world, and did a lot of work with several other artists. I gotta say, like, they're calling it COVID related. Now I'm hoping that that's factual. I'm hoping that it's actually COVID and it's not just some malarkey diagnosis or BS diagnosis from a bogus doctor. You know how, like, a lot of these cases, or there's some of these cases that have been claimed as COVID, but it's really been something else. Like, I'm hoping it wasn't like, he had some other severe underlying health conditions, and that was the main cause, and COVID had nothing to do with it. Or COVID had very little to do with it. Like, maybe he caught COVID and it elevated things to where it got extremely serious. Because I know that there's a lot of people who, like, have passed away or had something severe happen to them, and they say, oh, it was COVID, it was coronavirus. It was COVID. When really it was just, it wasn't COVID related. It was other, much more serious. It was other serious things. But, I mean, it could be true. It could have been that he did catch COVID. I mean, 74, you're a senior citizen. Your health is a lot more delicate at age 74 than as if you were, like, in your 30s, 40s, and maybe even 50s even, you know. I mean, 74, you're past the elderly, you're getting up there. So I'd say the flu can be serious to you if you catch it. The flu can be harsh if you catch it at that age. So who knows? All I know is it's just tragic. And it's very sad. A lot of us, especially people in my generation and generation before me, have came to adore Meatloaf and loved his work. We loved his work. You know, work with the Bat Out of Hell album was topped the Billboard charts for years. It was you know, and did very well, including the single Bat Out of Hell did very, very well. It was on top of the Billboard charts for quite some time. And of course, his number one, his biggest hit, in my opinion, "I'd Do Anything for Love," was one of my favorites, and a very well adored single that did very well as well. He did a lot of great work, a lot of great things, and he was infamous for a lot of good reasons. So it's very sad and very unfortunate. Send my condolences and support and deepest condolences to his friends and family, and hope they recover well from this. Meatloaf's not the only one who passed away this past week. Unfortunately, actor and comedian Louis Anderson passed away this past week as he was battling, not COVID, nothing to do with COVID. This actually was cancer related, that the news sources are saying. It says here in the media, it says on online sources, that he was, it says right here on CBS News, another source that I trust. CBS News says Louis Anderson, who more than 4-decade career as a comedian and actor, included unlikely Emmy-winning performance as mom to twin adult sons in the TV series Baskets, has passed away last Friday. He was 68. Anderson passed away in Las Vegas, complications of cancer. Glenn Schwartz, his longtime publicist, said in a statement in CBS News. Anderson had a type of non-Hodgkin lymphoma. Schwartz said previously. Anderson says backstory. Yes, Anderson won a 2016 Emmy for Best Supporting Actor in his portrayal of Christine Baskets, a mother of twins played by Zach Galifianakis. Anderson received 3 consecutive Emmy nods for his performances. Also, let's see. What does it say? So it says about the New York Times. See if they'll give me any more information. I know that his longtime friend Pauly Shore tweeted asking people to send support and love to the actor who had fallen severely ill, and to show their support to him and his families and such. Anderson had 5 brothers and 5 sisters, but over the course of sterling comedy career spanning 4 decades, he established a much larger family of colleagues. The comedian Bob Saget, who also passed away this month, was a younger brother of sorts. They started in stand-up on the West Coast around the same time and had a breakthroughs in the same 1985 episode of HBO's Young Comedy Special, hosted by the late Rodney Dangerfield, which back then was only second to the Tonight Show as a springboard of stand-up careers. He also appeared in my lady and I's favorite show, Young Sheldon. The new Young Sheldon, the show that's been around for a while now. We loved that show, and he was on it. So we didn't really, maybe he's on a later episode. I don't know. I don't really recall seeing him, but either way, that's awesome. Either way, that's great. Yeah, that's awesome. But yes, send our deepest, our biggest support, our deepest and saddest condolences. Deepest condolences to his friends and family, and hope they recover well from this very unfortunate circumstance. Very, very unfortunate circumstances. So, very unfortunate circumstances. So anyway, so that's so that's the sad. Actually, hold on. That's not the only person that in the media and in the entertainment world that we lost last week. This past week we lost French actor and Marvel actor Gaspard Ulliel, ULL, I think is how you pronounce his last name, who passed away this past week at the age of 37 in a ski accident. According to online sources, it says that he ended up going down a slope. I don't know if he was not watching where he was going, but he ended up going down a slope and collided with another skier, which he was rushed to the hospital and passed away the next day. There's an investigation going underway of what happened. It's very, very unfortunate. I mean, you're trying to have fun, have a good time, and ski. And I don't know if he wasn't paying attention to where he was going, or if like the other guy wasn't, or they both weren't, or what the story is. But they both collided with each other, and that resulted in very, very, very severe injuries and result from it. Severe injuries that led to So, I've been skiing a bunch of times. Of course, I mean, granted, I haven't gone to every ski slope out there, especially I believe he was skiing in the Alps. They said he was skiing in the Alps, and I haven't been anywhere near the Alps. I don't think I've been to the Alps at all. But I mean, I haven't been. But I can just imagine like the other resorts I've been to, ski resorts I've been to. It's self-explanatory. I mean, there's signs everywhere. There's trails everywhere. There's warnings of this, warnings of that. Ski patrols everywhere, warning everybody. But not every mountain is like that. And I don't even know if he was at an actual resort or if he was just skiing remotely. Like, I know a lot of people out there like to ski remotely where there's no guides. There's no sign. There's barely any signs. And except for maybe when you're a mile out warning you that, enter at your own risk, that's about it. Other than that, other than that, that's, I don't know. I mean, you do anything you do, you got to enter a precaution, and you definitely need to pay attention. It's pretty much a given. So I send my support, my deepest condolences to his friends and family for this very, very unfortunate event. Very sad and unfortunate event, and I send all the same to all three figures in the entertainment industry that we lost this past week. Very sad week. And then to lose Bob Saget and now to lose these three, it's very sad, very, very unfortunate. So yeah. Speaking of unfortunate and possibly criminalizing, let's moving forward here. So the Florida case with, remember Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito? Remember that whole the whole like case? The case was going on, investigation was going on, the whole incident. Gabby Petito, I believe she was in her teens, could be wrong, who was missing for a while. And then they're at some sort of camp. Investigators are looking all over the place. Then they end up going to some campsite, remote area, and finding remains that they believe belong to Gabby Petito. And her boyfriend or fiance at the time, Brian Laundrie, who was on the run, MIA, and they were searching for. They ended up this past week finding a notebook that belonged to Brian Laundrie, and they read the notebook, and in the notebook, it looks like that Brian Laundrie confessed in the notebook that he killed Gabby Petito, that he murdered Gabby Petito. It says right here on CNN.com, of course, my most trusted news source that I believe gives factual information. It says on here, before taking his own life, Brian Laundrie wrote in a notebook he was responsible for Gabby Petito's death, according to the FBI. A review of the notebook revealed written statements by Mr. Laundrie claiming responsibility for Miss Petito's death. The FBI Denver field office said in a statement released last Friday. The notebook was discovered in November. Oh, so they didn't just recently find it. They found it in November. Okay. In the same area as Laundrie's remains. So they found his body. In Florida's Maracaibo Creek. That's right. They did find his remains. That's right. I remember they were looking for him. And they found what looked like his, looked like his body or whatnot. It says they found it in Maracaibo Creek Environmental Park. Authorities said a revolver was found nearby. The FBI stated. Petito and Laundrie's families have reached an agreement on how the couple's belongings, including a notebook, will be distributed. Laundrie family attorney Steve Bertolonio said Friday about 4 months Petito's remains were found in Wyoming. Laundrie has been the subject of a weeks-long manhunt when his body was found. His family was informed he shot himself in the head, and his death was ruled a suicide. Bertolino said in November. It says here, the FBI says, we truly appreciate the FBI, or it says we truly appreciate the FBI's diligent and painstaking efforts in this extremely complicated case. The quality and quantity of the facts and information collected by the FBI leave no doubt that Brian Laundrie murdered Gabby. The FBI said Friday its investigation into the death will be closed in the near future. So, we're kind of potentially looking at a murder-suicide here, right? So the way it adds up, like I said before, when I talked about this before, several episodes ago, that, it appeared that, like, it appeared that he him and Gabby were on this big outing. They were on some sort of, like, Winnebago or van like adventure. They were pretty much traveling throughout the United States in a van, throughout the country in a van, and something went wrong, something went south. I'm not sure exactly what the contents of that, of what provoked it and what started, but it resulted in Laundrie grabbing Petito, strangling her, because I guess that's what it said in the notebook. That what he did, he strangled her. And committing murdered her, and then took off and went on a run, knowing that he would be caught and be held accountable. Didn't want to be held accountable be put to justice by our country's justice system, So he decided to take the coward way out and put a bullet in his head. Very sad. I mean, excuse me, Gabby. She was 22. She wasn't in her teens. She was 22 years old. That's a very, very sad and unfortunate occurrence. That's just mind blowing. Really, it's ridiculous. It's people today, the way they handle arguments and disagreements. And again, we don't know all the facts of this. We don't know every facet of what happened. But I'm just saying that, the way that people handle their anger and handle their differences today is not good. Not good. And it is so juvenile. It's so, like, crazy. It's so impulsive. And it's so aggressive and violent. People love violence and promote violence. And we're becoming, like, very desensitized to violence. We're desensitized in general, but, to violence where you see it every day, in the media. I mean, you're seeing TV shows that are a lot more graphic than they once were, than they were years ago. Today, you see, like, someone getting shot in the head, and you see all the graphics from that. You see it in, like, a show, and, yeah, of course, a lot of it's fake, but, like, they make it very realistic, which can be very impactful. You got video games of killing people and destroying people, and are very graphic. You have, like, stuff you can find on YouTube and on online that are very graphic, actual real things happening and going down and stuff. And a lot of graphic things being shown, like actual things happening. They're very graphic. Things that are happening out there that people are doing, and it's It's no wonder why we look at like people's safety and look at like people's well-being as like nothing. Like we treat it like it, carelessly. Like we're just like, so what? This happened to this person, so what? So what? So I don't care about the. I just saw a TV show or a video where this happened. This guy did this and did this person. And it's like, it doesn't matter. I mean, you shouldn't be. The fact that we are just treating, like I said, our health and safety so like delicately is just it's mindless. It is very mindless and mind blowing at the same time. You guys got to start like learning how to handle your anger. Everybody, men, women, both, whatever, whoever needs to learn how to appropriately handle their anger and needs to be educated in anger management. Needs to take anger management and, learn some tools of how to deal with their differences with one another. Going out to someone, shooting them, murdering, killing them, harming them, that's not the answer to an argument or to a basic fight or someone disagreeing with you or, to deal with other issues and problems. There's resources out there that you can take advantage of where you don't have to go out and commit murder or severely assault somebody, to severely assault somebody. And you don't have to go out there and try to prove something or always try to one up. I think a lot of it is that people are getting into these things where they feel like there's no way out, where they feel like a lot of pressure and they feel like stressed and up against the wall. So they feel like the only answer is to act violently when that is never the answer. To kill or severely harm someone is not an option, should not be an option. It's not okay. You need to handle your anger better, learn how to deal with your differences better, and not go about it in this manner. This is just, it's a very sad, unfortunate event, and I don't want many of these events to happen. I like for people to actually settle their differences the mature and responsible way, which I may be wasting my breath here, or just talking blah, 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 and people just, all they're hearing is noise, all it is noise to them. But this is viable information. This is viable request. This is something that needs to be done. People need to learn how to handle their anger in a much better way. They do. Much healthier way. So it doesn't hurt other people. So that's what we found in the headlines today. So, all right. So we're going to take a quick commercial break. We come back. I'm going to talk about what our wonderful president is up to. I may look for some material to make fun of the former guy on or about. Also, updates on COVID-19 and the vaccines or vaccinations, and a headhunt segment, as well as 2 societal topics of my choice. So still a lot to come, so don't go anywhere here on Courtesy Call.
Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, 3 dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
Does your plug-in fade too fast? Try new Febreze Fade Defy Plug. It has built-in technology to digitally control how much scent is released to smell first day fresh for 50 days. La 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 la.
Subarus are made for winter with symmetrical full-time all-wheel drive, so you can help your friend when they break down in the middle of nowhere. Kelley Blue Book's most trusted brand. That's a Subaru.
Morning. Can I have a coffee, please?
We can do better than that. How about an acorn spiced latte?
No, thanks.
What about a nitro charcoal brew with dry ice?
Oh, no.
The charcoal purifies the soul.
Just a regular coffee is fine. Thank you.
Okay. Let's talk milks. We got okra milk, we have sloth milk, and then we have fresh unicorn milk. Only $12 extra. Isn't that right, Caliber?
Whoa. I'll just do half and half. And my coffee?
Okay, but first, Fomart.
Oh,
Ta-da!
okay. You know what? This is ridiculous. I just want a coffee. I'm sorry.
Why does everyone leave us?
Every morning, I thought I had to make a choice. Do I use a toothpaste that whitens my teeth or one that's good for my teeth? Now I don't have to choose. My dentist told me about Crest Whitening Therapy, so I tried it.
From Crest 3D White comes whitening therapy. It's our best whitening technology. Plus, it has a fortifying formula to protect your enamel.
Now I get a whiter smile and healthy teeth all in one.
The 3D White collection from Crest. Healthy, beautiful smiles for life.
Oh, just one.
Jake from State Farm, it's the least I can do. You really did me a solid with that, Maya markdown on my insurance.
Here's the deal, Maya. State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates.
Right.
No, really, there are no markdowns, just great rates.
Pull her home back in 20 minutes. I'll hook you up with the good parts.
When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Welcome back, everyone, to Courtesy Call Podcast here on IPMNation.com. For those who are just joining us, before the commercial break, I talked about some sad headlines this past week as we lost a few more good figures in the entertainment world. First off, Meatloaf passing at the age of 74. Which is very sad, very, very unfortunate due to, they say, the coronavirus, due to COVID, which is possible, but skeptical given past events that have happened, you know, where there's been cases out there say were COVID, but it really wasn't COVID. The cause of it was other things that were very serious and underlying conditions, but, you know, decided to go with COVID to kind of fudge the numbers a bit for whatever reason. I don't know. So yes, it was due to COVID-19. Very sad, very unfortunate. Also, Louis Anderson passing away this past week at the age of 68 due to cancer. It was cancer, and it was factual that his diagnosis was cancer. Very sad, very unfortunate. And then Marvel's actor, I forget his name, Gabriel Ulliel, I think his name is. And a French actor who is starring in the new show Moon Knight, passed away this past week in a ski accident when he was skiing in the Alps, and collided with another fellow skier, I'm assuming at high speeds, which resulted in very, very serious injuries to where it resulted the next day. He ended up passing away the next day from his injuries. So very, very sad, very unfortunate. Sent my support and deepest condolences to all their friends and family, and hope they have a fast and healthy, recovery, and hope that they recover well. So, I also talked about the case with Brian Laundrie and Gabby Petito, and addressed that this past week. They discovered after reading a notebook that Laundrie had that they picked up last October, I think it was. I read. That they discovered it. They got it. They had it in possession since last October. I read through it, and it clearly stated that Laundrie owned up and confessed to murdering Gabby Petito. As we know, Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie were on some road trip throughout the country. They were in a van, in a van, traveling the country, and we're assuming, things went south. Some sort of argument happened or incident happened to where they both probably got into a heated kind of argument of some sort or whatnot, which resulted in some altercation and murder, and then suicide. As Gabby Petito, 22 years old, was missing for quite a while, and it discovered her remains in a remote park area in Wyoming. They were believed to be Gabby Petito, but they ended up looking for Laundrie. Laundrie was on the run, and then they discovered his remains. I forget where, but and it's apparent, looking at the evidence, that this was it was a murder-suicide. He killed her. Notice he didn't handle his anger very well or responsibly. Killed her, and then decided to run off to escape the law, to be held accountable for his actions. And rather than facing the justice system, he decides to put a bullet in his head and take the coward way out. So yeah, that's what was discussed before the commercial break. If you have any questions or comments that pertain to anything that's discussed on this episode or previous episodes, feel free to reach out on both our Facebook and Twitter, which our Facebook is facebook.com/Courtesy Call Podcast, and our Twitter is @Courtesy Call for you. That's the @ symbol, Courtesy Call, the number 4, and an uppercase letter U. Let me know what you think. Ask whatever questions you want. I'll take a look this next week. I'll gather them up and address them on next week's episode, which will be episode 48, which will air next Sunday, January 30th. So, all right. Well, for those who've listened to many of these episodes, know what's next. This is the point in the episode where I plug local businesses that didn't have an ad available to make it through the rotation during the commercial break, or suffering from the pandemic, financially, and could use your help and support in your business. So I'm going to pull these up, and hopefully you guys will get out there and help support these businesses. So without further ado, here we go. So we got Moe's Italian Sandwiches, making the original since 1959, with locations all over the Granite State, including one in Dover, one in Portsmouth, and one here in Concord, New Hampshire, right on South Main Street. D Designs, for those looking to get artwork done, great artwork done for either their website or business logo, feel free to contact Danielle Festa Keefe at dgraphicsnh.com. That is dgraphicsnh.com. Danielle Festa Keefe is not only a wonderful graphic art designer, she's also a very talented painter, and she would like you to enjoy her artwork from the comfort of your own home. She understands, due to the pandemic, there's a lot of people out there still not comfortable with going out in public and doing fun things to stay safe and healthy and safe and such. So she has came up with a virtual reality art gallery where you can go on D Design's website, or you can go on her personal Facebook page, which is Danielle Festa Keefe. Her personal Facebook page has a link. You can click on it. It pulls up a registration form. You can fill that out, and it'll direct you right after to a VR art gallery, virtual reality rooms where you could walk through and check out actual artwork that she did by hand that she uploaded into the portal. Pretty neat, huh? Technology has came a long way and has made it very convenient for these things to come about. So to go down. So check her out and check out the art gallery. That is Danielle Festa Keefe, dgraphicsnh.com. Crawl Space Audio. For those looking to get their audio projects done, such as podcast, or you're a musician looking to record your work, feel free to contact Dave Swillem at 603-275-2020. That is 603-275-2020. The Cake Fairy Bakery, located at 110 Old Londonderry Turnpike Road in Hooksett, New Hampshire. Yes, they are a wonderful bakery. They serve awesome baked goods, such as pies, cakes, cannolis, cupcakes, dessert logs, and other bakery novelties. But what they're best known for, in my opinion, is their eclairs. Awesome eclairs. Love them. They make them nice and fresh, a good size with a nice, decadent ganache on top. And inside is a very sweet, but not too sweet, custard. It's nice and creamy custard. Perfect what you expect from a great high quality cannoli. Eclair. And if you like cannolis, you'll love this place. If you think they're mediocre, this place will change your mind. Check them out. They're phenomenal. That is the Cake Ferry Bakery, located at 110 Old Londonderry Turnpike Road in Hooksett, New Hampshire, next to UTZ Chips. So, chip place, store, outlet, I believe, distribution, probably. Let's see. Oh, yeah. Clem's Bakery. Clem's Bakery, located at 29 Indian Rock Road in Windham, New Hampshire. They also serve wonderful baked goods such as pies, cakes, cannolis, dessert logs, and eclairs, and other baked novelties. But in my opinion, what they're best known for is their donuts. If you love donuts, you're going to love this place. They make them fresh every day. They make them fresh, and there's always a line out the door. Huge lines out the door waiting to get them. They have all the traditional kinds, such as old-fashioned, honey glaze, chocolate frosted, strawberry frosted, jelly-filled, and the infamous Boston cream. But what their best kind of donuts, in my opinion, are both their chocolate and vanilla cream filled. It's not chocolate and vanilla cream in one donut. No, it's a set of donuts with just vanilla cream and another set of donuts with just chocolate. But they're made very fresh. They're baked in a nice yeast shell. Nice and soft and fresh, what you expect from a yeast shell donut. And not too sweet, creamy, and nice and decadent vanilla cream in the middle. And chocolate cream in the middle. So, delicious. Absolutely delicious. And definitely requires some strength to not keep going back and putting on the pounds, if you know what I mean. So, again, that's Clem's Bakery, which is Klemms. Bakery located at 29 Indian Rock Road in Windham, New Hampshire. So, all right. Well, there you go. There you have it. There's the local businesses that could use your help, use your support, suffered through the pandemic, and could use your business. So check them out. So. All right. Moving forward. So I'm going to talk about our wonderful President Joe Biden. That's right. I know some of you wingnuts are like, oh, no, please quit it with this. He's not wonderful. He's not great. He's failing this country. He's doing a lot of bad things for us. Blah, 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 blah. That's what all you hear today by the right-wing wingnuts is you hear, oh, Biden, Sleepy Joe, and do nothing Democrats, and he's ruining this country, he has dementia, and he has all this stuff that's pretty much not true. Not true. If you read facts, you know this is not true. You're looking the other direction, but the factual direction. So direction where there's facts. Direction where there's facts is not is not your forte. So, to all those wingnuts out there who say our president is failing us and is a failure. I mean, I'll admit his numbers are low. They're very low. But according to CNN, again, my trusted news source, I haven't witnessed them steering anybody wrong really as of late. I've known them overall. I mean, they made mistakes. CNN has made mistakes in the past. But I believe overall they have done a lot. They have reported very strong factual information for quite some time. Okay, so they are, to me, the most reliable. They definitely are. And it says here, Biden is not failing or flailing. Here's to be fair about it. It says, here's an apparently unpopular opinion. Okay, an unpopular opinion. President Biden is not failing nor flailing. Okay. His presidency is not in peril. It's hard to see this through the blizzard of over-the-top headlines such as Biden can still rescue his presidency, how the Biden administration lost its way, and Biden's epic failures. Everyone needs to take a breath. It's been 1 year. That's right, 1 year since President Biden has taken office. It's been 1 year. And these headlines could just as easily read, Joe Biden fails to fix every problem in the world in 365 days. That's fair. It's a fair statement. Very fair. It says, what drives much of the presidency in peril coverage is Biden's approval ratings. CNN polls released Thursday found that 41% of Americans approve of the way President Biden is handling his job, while 54% disapprove. Low ratings are used as a proxy by various political and ideological factions to argue that the president needs to do more of what they want. If he doesn't, he won't get reelected. And that's just it. I want to add a side note. That is just it. People expect, have high expectations of him. And even if it's realistic or not, they want it done. People want it done. And if a president can't deliver it, they're awful, they're terrible, they're the worst, they're failures, right? So you got to understand, is your expectations realistic? I think a lot of what people are saying are realistic, what people want are realistic, but there's a lot of people out there that are expecting him to cure COVID and have COVID 100% under control within a year, which is not going to happen. No pandemic in history has been fully under control within that amount of time. Something like this. You also, there's a lot more that he has on his agenda that's very important. I'm sorry he doesn't prioritize with your standards, okay? And I'm sorry that you're not mindful enough to consider that there's other issues out there that may be a little more important than what you consider important, okay? So the fact that he's not, serving you and solving these problems in your timely manner is the pretty much is an abomination, is a complete irresponsible behavior from the president, and he should be taken out of office as he is failing this country. That's the way you see it. That's the way a lot of ignorant folk out there believe. And a lot of this ignorant folk are the right wing nuts. Okay, the wing nuts out there. They have very unrealistic expectations from anything, of everything, including our president, our wonderful president, who is trying to get things done, sufficiently, and efficiently. He's not trying to rush through it. A lot of the big problems to get things done the right way and to find the right, correct, the best solution is not exactly the most timely. Sometimes it takes a lot longer than anticipated because there's so much more to it that needs to be understood, that needs to be tried out, that needs to be tested, and needs to be approved before it can even go through. So it goes with anything. So all you people having these unrealistic expectations of our president to handle the coronavirus, or to handle COVID-19, or have COVID-19 or the pandemic under control, fully under control within a year, to handle stuff in the border within a year, to handle all this equality stuff and all this stuff. I was like, you gotta step back, take a deep breath, and just look at what's going on. Look exactly what's going on in this world. Look at other factors of what's happening. I know it's stressful. Trust me, I get it. I'm stressful. I'm stressed as well. You may not think so, but I'm very stressed. I am very stressed out. But I'm stressed, but I'm also understanding. I also like to look at things the healthier and the best way. I like to find the best, healthy, and top solution. What the right solution is. And sometimes that takes a lot longer than anticipated. So I'm sorry he's not serving you hand and foot in a timely manner, and therefore you're going to not approve of him, and you don't care about what he's doing, and you think he should not take office next term. I don't care. You guys are ridiculous. And you want to claim he's failing, he's a failure. No, he's not a failure. He's trying to get things done. He's just not doing it on your own terms, which I don't know how much credibility you have to state what your own terms should be. So, it also says here on CNN.com, it says, CNN opinion, It says low approval ratings. I already said that. Low approval ratings are a proxy. It says that nobody will cast their vote in 3 years based on how they feel today. About, Biden, of course. Progressives argue ratings are low because Biden is not progressive enough. Exactly what I stated just moments ago. And moderates and never Trump Republicans argue it's because Biden is too liberal. It's become conventional. It has become conventional wisdom in the media that Biden's approval ratings started dropping because of how he handled the Afghanistan withdrawal, which I will say I agree that, that's something that he should have handled more responsibly. I think that he should have taken a better approach into making sure the transition was healthier and could have come up with a better plan. I mean, that was awful. He didn't handle it that well. The whole process and procedure of everything was terrible. It was terrible. He handled the Afghanistan thing awful, like terribly. So I'll agree with that. But also says but Gallup's senior editor Jeff Jones told Politico in November that his declining poll numbers began before that. Interesting. During the Delta COVID-19 variant surge. It says the fact is approval ratings are most closely tied to how people feel about their day-to-day lives. Americans are understandably fatigued as we enter the third year of the pandemic, and until the U.S. gets back to some semblance of normal, we should expect Biden's approval ratings to reflect that frustration. Moreover, gas prices are high, and research has shown that presidential approving ratings often track with gas prices. And I will agree, past ratings that presidents have got has been over gas prices. Absolutely. It's been like one of the big placeholders of like what people see as the status of what our current president is doing, how our current president is doing in office. So that is true. Even though also says even though the president's power over these prices is limited, and that's very true. That's something you guys have to understand. The gas prices, the way they're handled, is very limited to what the president can do about it, and how it's and the effect on it is very little. I mean, President Biden, like I've been telling you, he's not the main person to blame for the gas prices being skyrocketed. It is lack of distribution because of the COVID-19 virus, because of people getting sick and such. Also, people on strike. The biggest one is people going on strike or protesting the whole vaccine mandates and the whole vaccine situation, and protesting other things. So a lot of truckers just bailing out. So lack of distribution will raise prices on anything, not just gas, but grocery goods, and other goods and such. But just gas, we see a lot more of it because that's what we get on the day-to-day basis other than groceries. So, right? Other items as such. But yeah, the president's power over the prices is limited. It also says the economic news is mostly good for Biden. Unemployment is down. That's correct. And wages are up. Exactly. Wages have increased. But inflation is high and rising. That's the downside. That's the unfortunate part right there. It has taken longer. This means the day-to-day life of many Americans feels really hard because there's so much going on, just a lot going on, so much stress happening, and that can cause a lot of us to get a little irritable, get very aggressive, get very frustrated, and get more expressive than we've been in years. And get more, like I said, aggressive and potentially some people get belligerent and violent. So it's due to a lot of factors. So people just got to relax, right? People just have to relax. There's really nothing that many of us can do at the moment. There's a lot of things that can be done of how we react and handle results of some things, but the only way that things are going to get better is if we cooperate, patience, and finding the right solution. Not getting too irritable and causing more problems and more issues. That's going to make things worse. So that may be a societal topic. Just throwing it out there. Hint, hint. Maybe. So. All right. So President Biden, still doing good. He's just got a lot on his plate. You got to cut him some slack. How would you handle things, okay? If you're such a know-it-all and you know what's best, I want you to sit down, okay? Take a deep breath. I want you to think, okay? If you were president, if you were in his seat, in his chair, knowing everything he has to deal with, everything he has to take on, and has to face on a day-to-day and deal with, and knowing how you do things, you tell me, and when you put this on our Facebook page or Facebook or Twitter page, tell me, how would you handle this country? How would you handle everything? How would you do it? Would it be as easy as you think? Let me know. Don't just blurt on the Facebook and Twitter. Don't just be like, oh, Biden sucks and the former guy was awesome and did what he had to do, or Biden's terrible president. Biden shouldn't be president. Don't just nail that, because that's unintelligent. Just like throwing stuff out there like that, like a moron, but not adding any consistency or any substance to it is just it's asinine. It's dumb. So, I want some actual intelligent answers. I want how would you handle the country right now if you were president? And I also want you to take in consideration what would the negative effects be? What would be the precautions of your decisions? What would be the downsides of your decisions? Because if you make one decision, you're giving up something other opportunity, right? Something else. Think about the consequences and the effect it will have of your decisions. And tell me how easy it will be. Just think. Just think about that. Okay. All right. Moving on. So what do we got here? Yes, the former guy. We got to make fun of him, right? Always got to make fun of him when we have the opportunity, right? It says, Weisselberg couldn't explain gap in $400 million golf course valuation. Former guy took a lot of golfing trips when he was in office. Yes, he did. And he spent most of his, he probably dropped some fat stacks on some of the courses that he was at. Some of his courses were pretty top notch. So, and of course, he was doing all this and ignoring some very important issues at the same time. I guess when the kitchen gets too hot and it gets too stressful for you to deal things the right way and do it the real responsible way, I guess the best thing is just to hit the golf course, right? Hit the golf course when you don't want to take responsibility. So, all right, and what else is going on with this former guy? Let's go to NBC News and see what they're saying. It says on NBCnews.com on their website, it says New York State Attorney General Letitia James this week laid out what she described as significant evidence of fraudulent activity by the former guy, shocker, and his company. By a decision on whether to take legal action could be months away, of course. Nothing gets done like in a snap of a finger. Actually, a few months, like 3 to 5 months, that's fast for government to deal with certain issues. That's actually fast. Sad? I know. In papers filed Tuesday, also says in papers filed Tuesday with the New York Supreme Court, James' office detailed some of the evidence unearthed in its ongoing civil probe into the former president and the former president's organization in a bid to get a judge to enforce subpoenas against the former guy and 2 of his children, Ivanka and Don Jr. All 3 have worked as top executives at the former guy's company. It says, but pushing the multi-year investigation forward may require substantially more evidence. So still the fraudulent behavior, frauding his tax returns and his tax information, his financial information, which we all knew he was doing. Finally finding evidence that backs it up and finds it factual, but there's more legal facets that need to be put into play in order for it to, for subpoenas to be issued and for it to actually become a case, to be taken to court. And officially, and then it to go into a trial, which I'm sure, and then hopefully, maybe not long after that, months later, the former guy can be actually held accountable for his irresponsible actions and being the kind of guy that a lot of us have known he has been for years. So, all right, that was it. Quick and painless, right? Aw. So let's move things forward because we're on a time constraint today. We're gonna have to move this along and actually make this a shorter episode than the ones have been lately. So we're gonna move on to the latest numbers on. We're gonna give you the latest numbers on COVID-19 and the vaccinations. So. I usually go with the number of cases, and then I go into the number of vaccinations that have been administered. So, these numbers were pulled as of yesterday, which was Saturday, January 22nd, 2020. And the number of cases are as follows. So, here in the United States, we have a total of 70,130,650 total cases here in the U.S. It was sadly very unfortunate. 864,182 deaths. Very sad. Very, very unfortunate. Around the world, around the globe, we have a total of 346,464,304 total cases around the globe, around the world. Was sadly very unfortunate. 5,585,224 total deaths. Very sad. Very, very unfortunate. Here in the Granite State, here in the state of New Hampshire, we look at a total of 257,793 total cases here in the Granite State. With that number, very sad, very unfortunate, 2,135 total deaths. Very sad, very, very unfortunate. So look at the cases have risen. They have increased, and they have increased quite a bit in the past month or so. And that is due to people participating in social events. As the CDC has said months ago, almost a year ago, they said if you are fully vaccinated, you can participate in social events. And people have been, which the case is going to spread because the vaccines do not cure COVID, do not cure the pandemic of the virus. So the virus will spread. It's all about that. The numbers you should be looking at is who has been fully vaccinated or not. Because if you're vaccinated, it has been proven that it handles against the virus very well. You will battle majority of the virus. You'll take it down. So that's really the numbers you should be looking at. But the number of cases have gone up. People are mingling. People are hanging around. They're doing what the CDC says is allowed. So they're going to go up. But like I said, that's not the number you should worry about. No. It's the number of vaccinations you should be looking at. Who is fully vaccinated versus who is not. Those are the numbers you should be worried about, right? Which now it is time for me to give you the latest number of vaccinations that have been administered versus how many out of that number are fully vaccinated. So without further ado, here we go. So here in the United States, the total number of vaccinations that have been administered are 532,850,229 total doses have been administered here in the U.S. With that number, There are 209,262,454 people who are fully vaccinated here in the United States, which brings the percentage to 63.5%. 63.5%, which we're just 2.5% off. We are almost at that herd immunity percentage that we were supposed to reach last July, in July. So we're almost there, Gotta get just, I don't know, a chunk more people to get vaccinated. Just a little bit more people, get like another few million people to get vaccinated. And I think we should be good. We should be at that number. We can collect very accurate, substantial data. So yeah, good numbers, good percentage. Here in the state of New Hampshire, here in the Granite State, we have a total of 2,524,988 total doses have been administered here in the Granite State. Out of that number, we have 930,280 people who are fully vaccinated here in the state of New Hampshire, which brings the percentage to 68.4%. 68.4% of the state's population are fully vaccinated. We have reached a herd immunity here in the state of New Hampshire. We can get more accurate data, accurate readings, and a big accurate idea about these vaccines and how effective they are, which are showing that they are very effective. They are extremely effective and do well against the virus. And they're safe. They're very safe, which is a win-win-win. Very good stuff. Very good stuff. And let's see. So worldwide, I forgot to announce address the percentage. So around the world, we got 52.4%. 52.4%. So about 2% higher than what it was last week, which is very good. Means it jumped. Means that people who are waiting to get their second dose got their second dose. And now there might be more people who got only one shot and waiting for their second, and waiting like 2 or 3 weeks for their second dose, which means the number will go higher and it will get bigger and bigger, and we get more bigger percentage of people and of who've been fully vaccinated. So including the boosters, make sure you get your boosters. Boosters are available and they're essential to make sure you're like 98 to 100% protected from the variants of this virus. So good stuff. Good stuff. Keep it up. I don't think there's any reason to continue to panic. I mean, honestly, I know a lot of places are taking a lot of precautions because of the Omicron variant and other variants in general. I get it. But people need to be fully vaccinated. If they're fully vaccinated, they're fine. The data shows they'll be in good condition. They'll handle majority of the virus, which at the very most they'll suffer low to moderate symptoms at the very most, like a cold or a minor flu at the very, very most. But it's like those who are not fully vaccinated roaming around. What are you doing? Unless you're like 5 years or younger, 5 years older or younger. There's really nothing much you can do about that because there's no vaccine for that age group, those age groups. But for those who are eligible, where there's a vaccine available for you, to get and such, and you're just walking around and doing nothing. What are you doing? You're putting yourself in jeopardy and you're causing more problems. Get yourself vaccinated. Get it done. Seriously, you'll be fine. So I think a lot of people are making a big issue out of this for no reason. Also, I think organizations are making things a big issue as well. I think that, we need to take safety precautions and such. But here's the thing. And I've addressed this on last week's episode, on episode 46. This is a very controversial. This may, upset a lot of people out there. This may upset a lot of you out there, but I be honest, I think the best strategy is for people to actually get COVID, to be vaccinated, to be fully vaccinated, but to get it so your body can recognize it and actually attack it. That's what the vaccines are. The vaccine is a blueprint of it. It's not the actual virus. It's the blueprint, but I think that if you're fully vaccinated and you get the virus, like I said, you're safe. You'll be safe. You'll be fine. You experience low to moderate symptoms at the very, very most. But you want to get it because then your body can recognize it more and attack it more sufficiently, and it strengthens your immune system because your immune system is able to recognize it more and fight it off quicker. Like I said, look at the flu. When the flu came about, years and years and years ago, when that came about, people were getting severely sick and some passed away from it, yes, and it was vicious. And that's because nobody's bodies recognized that this virus didn't recognize it. The body didn't know how to react because people were trying to avoid it and people weren't familiar with it, right? Everyone's familiar with it. But I think like now that generations and generations of people out there have contracted it and have fought it off less than a week, or within a week, because the body's got more immune to it and recognized it and fought it off. And I believe it carries genetically. I believe that if your people and your family have gotten it down the road like years ago, then the generation forwarding should the generation before them who got it and recovered from it and fought it off. The generations forwarding, forwarding from them in front of them, should be able to fight it off even quicker. I think today you can fight off the flu within less than a week. Less than a week. I think it's like 3 to 5 days. Yeah. Because our bodies, our immune system are used to it and they're stronger because they recognize it and are able to fight it off quicker. I think the same thing needs to be done with this virus. People need to catch it in order to fight it off. There's really no way, no matter what you do, how many health and safety precautions you take, everybody's going to get it. You hear me? Seriously, I think everybody's going to get it. So, just wear your mask, I guess. 6 feet, I guess, makes sense. Doesn't. I mean, look. I also look at airlines too, not making much sense. When you are in line through check-in, for those who don't check in on their phones or don't want to check on their phones or don't have access or whatever. For those who don't check on or unable to or don't want to check in on their phones, they have to line up, and then people in security are waiting to be checked through security. Have to social distance, right? The line, they have to social distance. But once they're done with check-in and security, what are they going to do? They're going to be crammed in a iron or metal, whatever, vessel. In a vessel less than half an inch from each other to be congested. So it just makes no sense. I don't think CDC knows what's going on. I don't think the government knows. The government hasn't known what's going on since, for years and years and years. They have not known anything, much of what's going on. A lot of stupid people handling this thing. So that's just my opinion. And I just saw a headline on CNN.com that said, will Omicron end the pandemic for good? Probably not. It's a weak variant. It's not really what's going to control it or be the deciding factor. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be like either a Delta, or if there's anything that comes out that's stronger than Delta, it's gonna be like taking that down and having that diminish is going to be the deciding factor of when this pandemic will be gone, or will be anything to worry about. It'll be so small, minute, and it won't be anything to worry about. Omicron, it being the weakest variant, is that a sign that the virus is ending and is diminishing to that? Possibly, maybe, not 100% sure. Medical experts have said don't rule it out, but don't be in favor of that. It could be true or it could not be so true. So we'll have to wait and see what happens, and if there's another variant that comes out within the next 5 to 8 months, and we should see. So. All right. Well, there's my spiel on COVID-19 and the vaccinations. I am going because we're so in short for time, it's time sensitive for this week. I'm going to skip the headhunt segment, which is a segment where I go online, I look up articles, find questions or comments that were asked, I lack substance or I answer sufficiently or at all, and I add my 2 cents worth. That's pretty much what the Headhunt segment is. I'm going to skip it for this week. I'll be doing it next week. For those who want to get more familiar with the Headhunt segment, want to hear me do one, want to know what a Headhunt segment is, you can listen to last week's episode and the previous episodes. I've done one in the past, I think at least like 30 episodes. I've done one. I think it came about like after I did like 15 episodes, I think. Episode 15 or 16, but could be wrong. Anyway, so go listen to previous episodes, and that's where I will do a Headhunt segment. I do one. So I'm going to skip it. So we're going to go right into another quick commercial break. When we come back, it will be the 2 societal topics of my choice. So don't go anywhere. Still more to come here on Courtesy Call.
Come on down to the Hop Knot at 1000 Elm Street, Manchester's premier craft beer and gourmet pretzel bar. Tell us more, Trudy.
We make our dough fresh every day. We make a variety of styles of pretzels and serve craft beer, cocktails, and a few bottles of wine. We do the traditional pretzel, and we have multiple flavors for that. We also do stuffed pretzels, pretzel sandwiches, free dessert pretzels, and pretzel knots.
The Hop Knot in the Brady Sullivan Plaza at 1000 Elm Street.
Coming in to get a deal that includes existing customers. He's probably 5'8", but we'll give him an even 6 foot. It's this guy!
Wait. Did I just hear existing customers can get a deal?
Yep, at AT&T, new and existing customers get our best deal on all smartphones.
That's pretty great. You think I look 6 foot?
I sure do. Kind of.
It's not complicated. Only AT&T gives new and existing customers the same great deals on all smartphones. Get up to $800 off our latest 5G smartphones.
Tasha, did you know Geico could save you hundreds on car insurance and a whole lot more? So what are you waiting for? Hip Hop Group Tag Team to help you plan dessert?
French vanilla, rocky road, chocolate peanut butter cookie dough. Scoop this, scoop this, scoop this, scoop this, scoop shakalaka, 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 shaka, scoop shakalaka, shakalaka, shakalaka.
Geico. Switch today and see all the ways you could save.
Oh my, with Chase Freedom Unlimited, I earn all this cash back? Oh, I gotta tell everyone. Hey Rita, you can earn 3% on dining, including takeout.
Bon appetit.
Hey Kim, you earn 5% on travel purchase through Chase.
Way ahead of you.
Hey Neil, you can earn 3% at drugstores.
Buddy, I'm right here. Why are you yelling?
Because that's what I do. You're always earning with 5% cash back on travel purchased through Chase. 3% at drugstores, 3% on dining, including takeout, and 1.5% on everything else you buy. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Building a better bank starts with looking at something old and saying, really? So Capital One is building something completely new. Capital One Cafes. Inviting places with people here to help you, not sell you. And savings and checking accounts with no fees or minimums, because that's how it should be. You can open one from right here or anywhere in 5 minutes. Seriously, 5 minutes. This is banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
The greatest stories don't have to end.
If we do this, we're gonna do it our own way.
They can expand, evolve, connect each generation to the next. The stories continue. Only on Disney Plus.
Welcome back to Courtesy Call podcast here on IPMNation.com. For those who are just joining us, before the break, I gave, well, first of all, I talked about what our wonderful president's been up to, but also mainly defended him by reading an article on CNN's opinion page on their website about, stating that our president is nor failing or flailing. And explain why that is, and explain why he's not exactly failing us, but he could do better. So I went into full details about that. Also made fun of the former guy as usual. Talked about, how he's being investigated for financial fraud, which has been going on for a while. It could take a lot longer, but there's more evidence that are showing that he, in fact, did commit financial fraud. And, in a few months, there could be subpoenas sent out, an actual court case, and he very well, maybe in the next year or so, could be held accountable for his actions. Just maybe. Just maybe. Keep my fingers crossed, right? Also gave out the latest numbers on COVID-19 and the vaccinations, and read out the progress that has been made on the vaccinations. Vaccines are coming along. We're pretty much at herd immunity here in the U.S. We're really close. Here in the Granite State, we've reached herd immunity percentage, and the globe is coming along. They've jacked it up. The percent has jacked up to about 2% in the last week, which is pretty good. So hoping that hopefully by the spring or summer it can get to that herd immunity. Hoping. So yeah, I also gave my 2 cents worth about the COVID thing, about like what we need to do and how we should not worry about the number of cases. Should look at the number of vaccinations. Also, that some companies are taking these things a little too serious, a little overboard, and I even shared that. As controversial as it is, it may be a better idea to just let people catch COVID, and that we all need to catch COVID. There's nothing we can do at this point, no matter how many health and safety precautions we take. Everybody's going to get COVID. Everybody's going to get it. You just need to be fully vaccinated, prepared, and safe for when you catch it. And it'll probably be the best thing, considering your immune system can react better once it actually recognizes the virus, able to fight it off better and quicker. So the vaccines help out with that because it's a blueprint, but it can do a lot better when it has the actual virus, able to recognize the actual virus and not a blueprint of it. So share my 2 cents worth, share all the information. I skipped the headhunt segment because we're pressed for time this week, so skip that. So if you have any questions or comments about anything that's been discussed on this episode or previous episodes, feel free to reach out on both our Facebook and Twitter pages, which our Facebook is facebook.com/courtesycallpodcast. And our Twitter is @courtesycall4u. That's the @ courtesy call, the number 4, and an uppercase letter U. Let me know your questions, your comments. I'll gather them up this upcoming week, and we'll address them on next week's episode, which will be episode 48, and not 47. This is 47. Episode 48, and which will air next week, which will be Sunday, January 30th, 2022. It's been quite a week so far, so bear with me. So yes, it'll air next week, next Sunday, January 30th, 2022 at 10 a.m. here on IPMNation.com. Well, I hope everybody is enjoying their week, or what's left of it, or the weekend, I should say, or what's left of it. I hope you guys are having fun, going out there, enjoying some winter activities, skiing, snowboarding, building snowmen, shoveling. Hope you guys are staying warm. As I said in the beginning of the episode, this past week or so has been, the temperature has been in the single digits here in the Granite State. I think pretty much all over New England, in the Northeast. The temperature's been in single digits. We're getting that cold front, the pure winter cold front that we've known for years and years. And it's just, it's going to be this way for a while. And I want to make sure we're not pushing winter out the door quite yet. We got to enjoy winter. We have to enjoy it. Because I know once the spring comes and the summer comes, we're eventually going to start complaining again that it's way too hot. Because that's what we do here in New England. We complain it's too hot, then it's too cold, then it's too, warm, it's too breezy, We're never really satisfied here in New England. Yet, though, we're one of the very few areas that gets all 4 seasons. So, around the country and I believe the globe. So, could be wrong. So, yes, I hope you all are enjoying the winter festivities out there and winter activities out there. And getting ready for another week of hitting the grind. I know last week some of you had a 3-day weekend because of MLK Day. But we're back to the grind for the full 5, right? This upcoming week, or some are 6, and some of them even do a full complete 7, which is ridiculous. Something I don't think I would be up for, but I would say 5 or 6 will do. That's enough for me. For that. But yeah, I hope you're getting ready for another busy week. I know for me, this weekend, I have been following the NFL playoffs, conducting a bracket challenge type deal. I'm also been joining the winter festivities as well, doing some shoveling. I've been doing a little bit of traveling a little bit. Bowling team competes tonight at Merrimack against a good team. We ended up losing last week. Unfortunately, we couldn't keep our undefeated streak going, and we went from number 1 to number 2 in the standings, but we will look to pick it up tonight. Pick it back up as we have made some adjustments and are looking to put up better numbers tonight than we did last week. So definitely looking to do that. Tomorrow, my folks and I will be heading back to Beantown, being back in Boston, as we're going to go see our beloved Boston Bruins take on the Anaheim Ducks at the TD Garden. We got some wonderful club seats for this one, which is we're definitely looking forward to. So it's been a while since we've been to the Bees. Want to see them again. I think this might be this might be one of our last games for the season that we'll go to. I know that we're trying to go to one in April. So yeah. But yeah, we'll be at the Bruins game tomorrow as they take on Anaheim at the TD Garden for 7 o'clock. And we'll be enjoying that, having fun there. So got a fun week coming up. Next month is going to be busy. I got some things going on to where Courtesy Call is going to take a little bit of a hiatus next month because I'll be heading up to Orono, Maine to watch UNH take on UMaine up at the Alphon Center on UMaine's campus. And it's a big rivalry for those who follow college hockey. You know, UMaine and UNH have been rivalries for years. I think college sports in general here in the Northeast, UNH and UMaine have been biggest rivals in college sports here in the Northeast. So, going to look forward to checking that out and spending a couple days up in Orono, Maine. And then the following month of March, we'll be taking a 2-week hiatus because my lady and I will be going on vacation. So I'll give you the details next week about that. So Courtesy Call taking a couple hiatuses, one in the middle of next month in February, and then another one in the beginning of March, from the end of the first week to the beginning of the second week. We'll be going on a 2-week hiatus. So, all right. So I'll share the details about that next week on next week's episode, okay? But anyway, so let's get into the 2 societal topics of my choice. I'm not going to actually introduce new topics because we're so pressed for time. I'm actually just going to do the review portion. I'm going to review some of the topics that I've discussed on previous episodes, from previous topics. So, and that'll be it. First up, my first one is going to be, of course, piss poor drivers. You guessed it. A lot of crappy drivers out there do not know how to drive, not using their directional within 100 feet, not even within 50 feet of their turn. They're doing it within like 10 to 15 feet. Some of them within 5 feet. Which causes accidents and invades the safety rules on the road, and it's hazardous. It's just not safe, and it's inconsiderate. So use your blinker when you drive. Okay, be mindful on the road when you're driving. People not even using their directionals when they merge, and that can cause accidents. You know how many accidents I've seen? How many accidents I've seen from my commutes, during my commutes? I mean, I go from, Concord into the Manchester or Southern Hampshire area, and it's like, I'll drive like not even a half hour. All right, for like a half hour, during my commute with a certain commute, and I'll see about 7 or 8 accidents along the highway. Yeah, and it's almost daily. It's almost getting daily, which is highly ridiculous. A lot of it's due to DUI, which you should not be getting behind the wheel if you're under the influence. You should not be even considering driving at all. You should be staying at the tavern, either staying at the tavern, drinking some water, and sober up before you go behind the wheel. Or what might be a better option is to bring a DD or call a friend that may be able to pick you up from wherever you are, a bar, tavern you're at, a restaurant you're at, and drive you home to where you need to go. Because you getting behind that wheel under the influence, it impairs your judgment. I don't care how good of a driver you think you are when you're inebriated or under the influence. I don't care how much of a good driver you think you are. There's a lot of people that say that and they get into accidents. The fact that you're impaired, even a little bit, it doesn't make it safe for you to get behind the wheel. Do the most considerate thing. Sober up a bit before you drive, or get a DD or call a friend. Okay? None of this, no more of this driving under the influence accidents. It's inconsiderate. It hurts you, yeah, okay, but it hurts everybody else as well. It hurts everybody else, and we need to be a lot more considerate on the road and less destructive. And hazard, and putting hazard and being crazy and doing very irresponsible things on the road. So that's one. Also, people not knowing how to merge. You need to go back to driver's ed, learn how to merge correctly. And people being impatient at stoplights and stop signs. There's a lot of people I've seen just blow stop signs. Either they're not paying attention enough, they're looking at their stupid damn phones that could take. They can be away from for 5 minutes or wait until they're at a stoplight to look at. They're on their phones. Don't pay attention to your damn phones. They're not even seeing where the signs are at or even realizing that there's a stop sign there. And they're blowing past the stop sign and colliding with another car, T-boning someone, or being T-boned, causing an accident. There's people who are impatient that, they see the yellow line and the yellow's been yellow for at least a second or two. And on that last second, they decide to just rev it up, going on red, and then someone goes on green and boom, they collide with each other. Accident. It's just, you have to be patient. You have to be patient. And coming on to intersections, four-way intersections where there is no light, where there's either a roundabout or you're just coming on into traffic, you got to really look both ways before going. You can't be impatient, be like, I got to go. I've been waiting here for 3 minutes, which is like an eternity. It's upsetting. It's juvenile. Okay. Please be mindful of the road. Look both ways before going into traffic. Don't blow stop signs, okay? And don't be under the influence when you drive either. Don't speed. There's no reason to go 20, 30 over the speed limit. If you're on the highway, I believe the speed limit is either 65 or 70. There's no need to go 98 miles an hour on the freeway. There's no need for it. So, please be mindful on the road. And don't be an ass. Be mindful. Be considerate. Use good driver's awareness and etiquette. And be respectful. Thank you on that. All right. So the second topic, here it comes. I'm sure you can already guess what this one's about. Piss poor parenting. All right. The way your child turns out, it has solely to do with you when they're young. Absolutely. They are, children come out as a blank canvas. They're a blank canvas. They don't know much of anything unless they're exposed to something and they're taught something, verbally, physically, whatever. The point is you need to teach your kids the rights and wrongs, the do's and don'ts, ins and outs. And you need to make sure your children are held accountable. My folks and I recently had a conversation with a mutual friend, someone that we know mutually, about poor parenting today. And the entitlement of people today, of teenagers and young adults today feel, like this huge amount of entitlement. They feel that they have this huge amount of entitlement, that they're entitled to all this and that, and they shouldn't be corrected, and that they're better than people, or that have more of, their word has more of a say and better than other people's. And it's like, that comes with piss poor parenting, not educating your children well enough to let them know that there's consequences with every action. One of the biggest problems here today is I noticed that parents are just not holding their children accountable for their actions. That's been going on for a while. And children are going up to not understand that there's a cause and effect, that there's a consequence with bad behavior. So they can continue to, project bad behavior, to be able to display bad behavior. And when the parents is just rewarding bad behavior, it just really builds it into that child's head. So when that child grows up, they believe that acting out is the way to go. And this is probably the reason why we see a lot of these crimes, happening. A lot of these, murder suicides, these shootings, these lashing outs, these fights or whatnot, is because, these people grew up to learn that if they act out and act juvenile and act like morons, that they're going to be rewarded. I see it. I see it in public all the time. I expressed last week, I talked about last week how I saw a parent that was in a store. Now, they just took their kid out to the movies, took them out to eat, and took them into the store, to get what they wanted for dinners and breakfast, and really give them like a good day out, right? They took them to the movies, took them out to eat, and got him some toys, or got him some stuff. The child wanted candy. The child wanted candy, and the parent said no initially, which was good. But then the child started throwing a temper tantrum. Threw itself on the floor, kicking and screaming, yelling, all these words, making a huge scene. What did the parent do? The parent said, okay. If you stop screaming, I'll buy it for you. I'll buy it for you. You just got to calm down and relax. But I'll buy it for you. Rewarding bad behavior. And when this person that my folks and I know mutually, we were talking, and when I saw this person, when I asked, I was just like, why would you reward bad behavior? Why would you do that? And the parent just went, it's easier that way. Yeah, I'm sure it is. It's also easier, to hit someone, a bad parent in the face than just talk with them and counsel them for them being so stupid. The easy way, most easy ways are not the healthy way. A lot of the good ways and the much healthier solutions, it takes longer and takes more effort and work. You have to be patient. You have to have a backbone. You have to be stern, but you have to be stern at the right actions. If they threw a gummy bear, don't yell at them and tear them to pieces verbally. If they threw a gummy bear on the floor, just ask them to pick it up, respectfully. If they say no, then you get a little stern. If they say no, you get more stern. And if they say no, then you say, okay. You throw it out and say, okay, well, you lost something. You don't have this privilege anymore. You discipline them, right? So you have to discipline your kids. I don't care. I know you love them, but if you really do love your children, you'll raise them the correct way. You'll yell at them, you'll punish them, and you hold them accountable for their actions. Or else they're going to grow up to be menaces, create issues, and they're not going to have a bright future because they're going to be put to justice. And some. So how your child pans out is on you. And if you don't care how your child pans out, maybe you shouldn't be a parent in the first place. Because real parents and good parents care for the well-being of their children. Plain and simple. So whether you want to be looked at as a good parent, or whether you want to have a smooth future with your child, or have a very troubling, bumpy road, that, my friends, parents out there, that is on you. Thank you. All right, well, that wraps up the 2 societal topics of my choice, or the review of the 2 societal topics of my choice. And that concludes the episode. Didn't much shorter than it was last week. Well, almost 45 minutes. I want to thank IPMNation.com's president and CEO, Matt Connarton, for giving us the spot. And I also want to thank all of you listeners for tuning in. Be sure to tune into next week's episode, episode 48, where I will talk about what else is going on in the headlines, whatever hot news is in the headlines. Talk more about our wonderful president, what our wonderful president has been up to. Also make fun of the former guy. Give you latest updates on COVID-19, the vaccinations. The headhunt segment I'll do this time. And 2 new societal topics of my choice. That'll be episode 48, which will be available for download a week from today, which will be Sunday, January 30th, 2022 at 10 a.m. here on IPMNation.com. Also give you a briefing on the hiatus, the further details of why Courtesy Call is taking hiatus next month and the beginning of March. I'll share that next week as well. Be sure to also tune in to Matt Connarton's Matt Connarton Unleashed weekdays at 4 p.m. on 95.3 WMNH. Matt Connarton Unleashes Facebook Live page and here on IPMNation.com. All right. On the behalf of Courtesy Call Podcast, I am your host, Scott Perry. Be kind, be mindful, and do your part. Enjoy your week. Bye-bye, everybody. Go Bruins.